Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Sri Chaitanya Manobhistam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Savadantikam. Hare Krishna. So we are very fortunate to be here in Vrindavana Dham, in our Krishna Balram Mandir Goshala at the VIHE, which was started many years ago, 1987 was the first year. It was just 1 month course, Kartik time, and Purijan Prabhu actually started that VIHE under, of course, Prabhupada's instructions, Prabhupada's desire. And so I was very fortunate actually to be one of the students at that time, 1987, the first batch of students, and Prabhupada's disciples were there, senior disciples. They were giving wonderful courses. So I took 2 courses actually, one by Bhakti Charu Maharaj, Vaishnava etiquette, and one by one Sanskrit scholar, who was a disciple of Bhakti Swarup Damodar. So he was teaching Sanskrit, so I took that course also. And then every year, of course, it expanded more and more beyond actually imagination, practically, so to say. First it was in the Gurukul building, which is gone now.
What? Not my fault.
No problem, but something more wonderful is going to be there. A wonderful guest house and restaurant and also auditorium for preaching about Rupa Goswami too.
Some VIHE program.
VIHE program also, yeah. So, but then of course the facility was not enough because it was the Gurukul building, the classrooms of the Gurukul. So that eventually the VIHE came here, and it was just a small building. Actually, before the VIHE started, I stayed in this building here for maybe 1 year. But then I was relocated, and VIHE got this place, and it was very simple, just 2 classrooms, but it expanded more and more, and it is really wonderful. So not only the simple courses expanded, of course based on Prabhupada's instruction that the Bhakti Shastra should be taught, and then later on Bhakti Vaibhav, Bhakti Vedanta, Bhakti Sarvabhauma, and so on. And of course sometimes some additional courses are there. But basically, under Prabhupada's, of course, guidance, and at the same time as Prabhupada, whenever he was giving class, he was offering obeisances to his spiritual master by reciting Om Jnana Timirandasya. And then he was reciting immediately Sri Chaitanya Manobhistam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Svapadantikam. So Rupa Goswami, eternal associate of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, at the same time eternal associate of Sri Radha and Krishna, and as Mataji was explaining, and that was one of the topics which was presented to me also, and I was asked which one to choose, and I was the last speaker, so I felt, well, the best at last, and the essence that is about Rupa Manjari. But at the same time, so we have to very cautiously, we have to perform our devotional service, as Prabhupada explained, the previous acharyas, Rupa Goswami himself, then we perform sadhana bhakti, following rules and regulations, but sadhana bhakti is in 2 parts. First, VIHE sadhana bhakti, following rules and regulations, and then comes rag anuga bhakti, the spontaneous platform when one is in purified consciousness and following the eternal associates of Krishna in Braj, who are known as Ragatmik Jan. so rag. So they have spontaneous love, affection, attraction, attachment towards to Sri Krishna. So not only the gopis but all the Brijbasis, not only Mother Yashoda, not only the friends, not only the servants, but even the cows, the birds, the plants, the trees, the river Jamuna, they all have so much love for Krishna. The eternal associates. And so different stages of prema there. Prem, Sneha, Man, Rag, Prem, Sneha, Man, Pranay, Rag, Anurag, Bhav, Mahabhav. And even different category of Mahabhavs are there. And so the highest transcendental emotions are found in the gopis. So Mahabhav, that is only there found in the gopis and Krishna himself. Mahabhava Sarupa, Sirada Thakurani, Sarva Gunakhani, Krishna, Kanta Shiromani. So specifically in the Chaitanya Charitamrita, which of course is the postgraduate study for the devotees, as Prabhupada explained. First we read Bhagavad Gita and then Srimad Bhagavatam and then the Chaitanya Charitamrita. And there, so the loving sentiments are explained of the eternal associates of Krishna and Braj, which also mentioned in Srimad Bhagavatam in the 10th canto, but more specifically, they are there in the Chaitanya Charitamrita more elaborately, and specifically also the highest transcendental emotions, so which are the emotions of the gopis. So that has been explained by the Acharyas in our Sampradaya, the 6 Goswamis, and even Swarup Damodar and Rai Ramananda. And so and also it has been revealed that most of the associates of Mahaprabhu, the closest associates, like Swarup Damodar, Rai Ramananda, and the 6 Goswamis, they're all gopis, also known as Manjaris. So Manjari is also gopi. Actually, there are 5 kinds of gopis: Saki, Nitya Saki, Priya Saki, Param Priya, Param Preshta Saki. So 5 kinds of gopis are there. So the most dear friends of Srimati Radharani are Lalita Vishaka, who are also in our temple. We have Radha Krishna and Lalita Vishaka. And actually Prabhupada, he told Yamuna Devi, who told me personally, one time I had the fortune of speaking with her for 1 hour. And so Prabhupada actually asked her to go to Jaipur to make the deities here, or to tell those who are making the deities in Jaipur. And Prabhupada gave us specific instructions how the deities should look. Gonitai, Krishna Balaram, and then especially Radha Krishna and Lalita Vishaka. And he was telling, so we will have Radha Krishna, Gonitai one altar, then Krishna Balaram, and then Radha Krishna, and the Ashtasakis. And Mother Yamuna was saying, but Prabhupada, the altar is a little small to have Ashtasakis. And then Prabhupada said, oh, okay, yes, so we'll have Lalita Vishaka, Radha Krishna and Lalita Vishaka. So then she was actually going there, and she was there and guiding them according to Prabhupada's instructions. Like Srimati Radharani, she's in dancing pose. Srimati Radharani, the right hand like this and left hand like this. And Prabhupada also mentioned one time here in Vrindavan, and referring to the pastimes of Radha Krishna, if Radharani stops to dance, the whole show is over. Referring to Radha Krishna's and the Gopis Ras Lila, which is mentioned in Bhagavatam, Sharad Purniya Ras and Kartik Purnima Ras, Ras Lila, and so indicating, and of course Prabhupada are fully aware of the wonderful transcendental loving exchange, but he was only sometimes giving a little drops to the devotees, because the qualification has to be there to be absorbed. in this aspect, as Mataji was pointing out. Sevat sadhaka rupena, siddha rupena chatrahi, tad bhavaripsana karya, vrajokana sarataha. The shlok is there at the entrance there. And so it is mentioned from C.C. Madhya Lila. But actually this shlok is from Rupa Goswami. This shlok is from the Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu, from the Nectar of Devotion. And this shlok is also mentioned in the purport to the 8th verse of the Upadeshamrita. Tannam Rupa Charitadi Sukirtana Smiritana Kramena Rasana Amaraseni Yoja Tistan Brajeta Danaragi Jana Nagami Kalam Nayet Akilam Itupadesh Saram. The essence of all advice given by Rupa Goswami. So actually in the 8th verse of the 11 verses of the Upadeshamrita, also showing what we have to do, first being a sadhaka, controlling the mind and the senses, following rules and regulations, and giving up things which are not favorable, accepting which is favorable. But then here giving the essence also that one should always be absorbed ultimately in hearing very nicely and remembering nicely Krishna's wonderful name, form, qualities and pastimes. And then he's explaining that following staying in Braj. So, and then Prabhupada also in regards to this verse and another verse which is also next to this verse in the Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu, Krishna Smanam Janam Chasya Nija Prisham Samaitam Tattakatara Chastasya Kuryat Bhajam Braja Sada. We should always be in Braj. And Prabhupada is writing, even not physically, then mentally. So of course we are fortunate to be now in Braj, but then some of you will maybe have to go back to wherever you came from in India or from abroad. But if one can stay there, here, that is most wonderful. At the same time also we should be absorbed in the remembering the pastimes of Krishna. If one is just thinking about something else, or even sometimes some pujaris they have joined, and then they want to go to America.
No, really?
Yeah, and they have gone also. So they were not in Braj Bhav, and they're going to America. So that is not Braj Bhav. Braj Bhav means you physically are there, but especially mentally, in the consciousness, you have to be absorbed in Braj, in Krishna, Krishna's wonderful qualities and pastimes with his eternal associates. That is Braj Bhav also. And even somebody maybe in America or in New York or wherever. And one time Prabhupada was in New York. I was in New York also for a visit. I stayed there for 3 years worshipping Radha Govinda. And Rupa Goswami's Ishtadev is Govinda Dev. And these deities were actually installed by Prabhupada in Jaipur, in the Radha Govinda temple. And so there, Prabhupada was there discussing different things, and then he was saying to his devotees, I am always in Vrindavan. So pure devotee, wherever he is, he's always in Vrindavan, because he's thinking about Krishna. So that is the essence of all advice is there in the 8th verse of Rupa Goswami. So you can see in Rupa Goswami's books, so there's a gradual development from Shraddha to Prem. And he's giving the Padati the process. Like in the school, you go first class, second class, third class, fourth class, like this. So gradually we have to go higher and higher and higher. And then we may attain perfection. So for that purpose, he has explained Raga Nuga Bhakti. Ultimately, we have to enter Raga Nuga Bhakti, the spontaneous platform. Otherwise, we'll not go to Braj. That Mahaprabhu has explained in Chaitanya Charitamrita also. If you're not following the eternal associates of Krishna in Braj, you will not go to Braj and enter the pastimes of Krishna. So therefore, Rupa Goswami has explained also this in his Upadeshamrita, in the Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu, is explained about then Raganuga Bhakti to some extent, and about Bhav Bhakti, when one is more advanced and actually free from the modes of material nature and able to be absorbed. In the beginning stage of sadhaka, we follow externally, but then Siddha Rupena Chatrahi, as in this verse it is mentioned, that when one is in the spiritual platform, then one can be absorbed in this topic. And then in the remembrance of Krishna and Krishna's pastimes in Braj. And that is also, so the second verse, Krishna Smaram Janam Chasya, that we should, that is the goal. As also we know, Padma Purana it is mentioned, that Smatavya Satatam Vishnu, Vismatavya Najatuchit, Sarvabhidi Nishede Suri, Etayore Kinkaraha. The essence is there also. The many rules and regulations to follow, but what is most important, that we have to remember Krishna. And what we should not do, forget him. So there also he has mentioned that we should always remember Krishna. And Krishna is never alone, but we should remember Krishna's associates. And the friends, the cows, Maria Shoda, but then ultimately the gopis also. Because Mahaprabhu is no different from Radha and Krishna. And so therefore he came to give the holy names, but then he especially gave Braj Bhakti, and there Unab Ujjvala Ras in the Chaitanya Chaitamrita, Mangalacharan verses he has explained. So that Mahaprabhu Anarpita Charim Chirakena Vatana Praho Sanarpatya Unad Ujjvala Rasam Samaktisiyam. He has come to give Unad Ujjvala Ras, and that is actually the Madhurya Ras, the loving exchange between Krishna and the gopis, the Gopi Bhav. And so and then also, so Rupa Goswami, so he has done in the Nectar of Devotion, so he has explained about the different rasas, Shantaras, Dasyaras, Sakyaras, then Vatsalya Ras, and then also the Madhurya Ras, the highest Ras. So Panchagoda is going, so Panchagoda Prabhu, okay? Hare Krishna. Yeah, he has some other engagement. So, but we continue. Artik is at 3:30, so we'll take 10 minutes more. So gradually, we're supposed to speak about Rupa Manjari, but we have to slowly but surely enter into this subject matter with a clear understanding. So Mahaprabhu came to give this Unadojjala Ras actually, because he's no different from Radha and Krishna, and therefore his most intimate associates in Braj, so Lalita and Vishaka, they became Swarup Damodar and Rupa Goswami and Rai Ramananda. And then, so these are the friends of Srimati Radharani, as mentioned, the Ashtasakis are there, the most close friends of Srimati Radharani in her group. Other gopis are there, who are friendly, but little distance towards Radharani, and there's someone neutral, and then the rival gopis headed by Chandravali. So there's transcendental competition there, but Krishna is in the center. So that is explained also. So the Sakis are there, and they are serving Radha Krishna. And then, but, so as explained before also, so some of these Sakis are a little younger than Srimati Radharani. So Lalita, Vishaka, they're the same age, the Ashtasakis. But there are some gopis, they are known as Manjaris, they're a little younger than Srimati Radharani. And so 1.5 years younger. So the foremost of them is actually Rupa Manjari. So she's the foremost of the Manjaris, and she's of course under Srimati Radharani and doing whatever Srimati Radharani does. And actually, even Radharani doesn't have to tell Rupa Manjari what to do, because she's so much absorbed in serving Radharani, she knows. Even Prabhupada has explained, that it is mentioned in the scriptures, different kinds of disciples. First class, second class, third class, fourth class disciple. Fourth class is doing the opposite what the Guru wants him to do. So he's not really a disciple. So in the third class, he may try to do, but he's not able to follow. The second class disciple is getting an instruction and is following the instruction. And the first class disciple, the spiritual master doesn't have to tell him what he has to do. He knows. He knows the heart of the spiritual master. So, there also, to speak in Golok, the highest realm, So the Manjaris, they know Srimati Radharani's mood and how she wants to be served, how she wants them to serve, or to go towards Krishna, and give maybe some message or whatever. So they're very, very close to her. Although Srimati Radharani, she will call, because she's a Saki, she will call Rupa Saki, come here, as my good friend, although she's younger. But then Rupa Manjari and the other Manjaris, they're in that mood that, no, we are not the Sakis of Radharani, we are the servants of Srimati Radharani. And there's a verse by Raghunath Das Goswami in Vilap Kusumanjali, and there is taking shelter actually of Rupa Goswami and then taking shelter of Rupa Manjari. So of course these books, they are to be studied only later on, after having completed the Srimad Bhagavatam, Chaitanya Charitamrita, attended Bhakti, Vaibhav, Bhakti Vedanta, Bhakti Sarvabhauma, then they can be studied also. But Prabhupada mentioned, because he read all these books, and he has mentioned in his purports. So if one is reading attentively, he can see. I read the CC 12 times in English, 2 times in English, 1 time in Bangla. So there he has explained about Vilap Kusumanjali, and he has explained about Govinda Lilamrita, which is explaining about the mood of the gopis and which mood they are serving, or especially of course here Rupa Manjari. So there Raghunath Das Goswami is writing this book as a sadhaka, offering respect to Rupa Goswami, but then he's entering the Antaradasha, Siddha Rupena Chatrahi, the mood that now, then he's seeing himself as Rati Manjari, and he's praying to Rati Manjari, to Rupa Manjari and Srimati Radharani. Sri Rupa Manjari Kachachita Pata Padma Gostendra Suna Bhajarpit Mashtakaya Ham Odata Kataka Kanaka Gauri Sam Padaravinda Sambhami Saraka Tavakim Karishye. To praying to Srimati Radharani that please give me your mercy, and then specifically also to Rupa Manjari. Rupa Manjari is seeing that Rupa Manjari is massaging the lotus feet of Srimati Radharani. And then he's thinking, oh, it would be nice to serve the lotus feet of Rupa Manjari also. So he's praying to Rupa Manjari, please give me the remnants of seva, of serving the lotus feet of Srimati Radharani. And then of course Rupa Manjari, very merciful, is letting Rati Manjari also serve the lotus feet. So that has been explained by the Acharyas also, and Prabhupada had hinted, so he's giving drops. And this is just like, for example, we have the different samskars. Like for householders, 16 samskars are there, solar samskar, purificatory rites. First of all, to understand we are not this body, we are spirit, soul. And there's a marriage ceremony, and then the woman wants to have a child, woman and husband, and the father-in-law and mother-in-law, means the father and mother of the man, they will always ask, so what's happening, not pregnant yet? So there different samskars are there for purification of the couple, the family, and then of course the child who will be coming. And then the child is born, giving the name to the child, Namkaran Samskar, and then giving the first grains, Anaprashanam Samskar. The child doesn't know anything what's going on. He's a baby, right? But he's getting purified, impressions are there. And even mostly the parents, they don't know what are the samskars. Oh, you know the 16 samskars? No. So that is there, but there is benefit there if the qualified priest is there. And one will be eligible to understand more about spiritual life by that samskar. But then the other samskars are there that is given by the spiritual master, the Acharya, and which is in regards to making advancement in regards to our Swarup as spirit, soul, and our relationship with Krishna. These are like little drops inside the heart, as Prabhupada is also giving in his books, and those who are fortunate, they will understand. usually due to purva samskar, to previous impressions, but then by good fortune, also by good environment, then one will be able to understand and be benefit. But even if one is not understanding, now maybe most of you may not be able to understand about the matter of internal cultivation of the Siddha Rupa, of the relationship with Krishna as Gopi or Gopa, so that may not be for the beginning devotees, but even though one may not understand, but still there will be some benefit. Also in the Chaitanya Charitamrita, Kaviraj Goswami has explained, because it is the high topic, like already in the Adi Lila 4th chapter, which now we are reading in the temple. Since maybe 2 years we started the Chaitanya Charitamrita because it is important. Prabhupada had this Chaitanya Charitamrita printed for our benefit, that we should read it, we should hear it. So then finally 2 years ago it was started here in our temple every Monday. And so the Adi Lila started. Now in the 4th chapter it is about Srimati Radharani and her loving sentiments. So which is there, and we may not be able to understand in the beginning this topic, but still, so the benefit will be there. And he has explained in the Chaitanya Charitamrita, even if you're not able to understand now, but just by hearing, then you will be benefited, and ultimately later on you will understand this topic. And then he has explained also that some people, they may not want to know about this, and they may be against this, but we don't have any worry, although it is confidential. But those who are not qualified and those who are not supposed to hear this topic, they will not understand it anyway. Because only if one is following the process properly, if one is on the proper guidance of the qualified spiritual master, if one is very serious and purified in consciousness, then he can understand this topic and he will get the benefit. So Rupa Manjari, so she is very close to Srimati Radharani, most close. And especially, so for example, every day they meet 3 times. Radharani the gopis in different places with Krishna also. One in the morning in Nandagaon, they meet. And Radharani and the gopis are cooking there in the kitchen. Lalita Vishaka, they are helping. Rupa Radhi Manjari, they are helping, cooking. So actually when we do proper deity worship, the devotees actually should be in that mood ultimately, not just externally cooking, but then just thinking about what's going on in the temple. I have to get a new mobile and okay, I'm looking forward for the prasad. No. But we should be thinking about Krishna, Krishna's associates. So therefore sometimes we have to hear like what Radharani is cooking, and the gopis are helping there. Rupa Manjari is there helping, giving whatever Radharani needs. And then after, so Krishna is eating, and then Krishna is going out with the other gopas, taking care of the cows and the calves for a little while. But he's always thinking about Radharani, and Radharani, the gopis are thinking about Krishna. And then and they meet again at noontime at Radhakund, and then again night time at different places. And for Rasa Leela, when the full moon night is there, the gopis are dancing with Krishna, but the Manjaris usually are not dancing, they're just there helping, and they're supplying something if something is needed, if Radharani needs something. Or in the Nikunja, in the different forests, then Radha Krishna there, or even actually noontime in Radhakund, 8 kunjas are there of the 8 gopis, the Sakhis. And then Lalita Kunj is there, Lalita is there, and then the Manjaris are there also, and the divine couple. So at night time also. And but then at the end of night, when it is time to relax and take some rest, after wonderful pastimes, then the gopis, they will also go to their respective places. But then the confidential seva which is done in the kunja, that is done by Rupa Manjari and few of her friends. So she's most fortunate, she's most close to Srimati Radharani. So actually we are most fortunate to be in this Sampradaya, the Gaudiya Vaishnava Sampradaya. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he came to give the highest form of love, that is the love of Braj, and especially the love of Radha and Krishna, which is known as Parakya Bhav. And then so we are even more fortunate that we are under Rupa Goswami, who is Rupa Manjari. And as we can see, it is described also, for example, what is the color, the complexion of the different gopis. Of course, of Radharani, we know also Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi, golden complexion. Also similarly, so Lalita Devi has the same complexion, and also it is mentioned that Rupa Manjari has also the same complexion. And you can see the dress of Rupa Manjari also. Same dress, practically very similar to Lalita Devi's dress. The color of peacock feather, and the peacock feathers are there also. That is the color of Lalita Devi's dress, because they are in the same group also. And so they may have the same dress also. Even if you go to school in India, they all have the same dress in the school. Different school, different dress. So like that. So same dress is there. And of course they perform various services. They are very expert, the gopis and the manjaris, in singing, playing musical instruments, in cooking, or even astrology. They're expert, very expert. But they have a specific seva also. And Lalita Devi, she's famous for offering tambul. That is the palm leaves, and inside which they cut actually the betel nut, and they put some spices like elaichi and long and so on, and cumin, and so that is then prepared, and Krishna loves that actually. So, but they will not give directly to Krishna. They will give to Srimati Radharani, and then Srimati Radharani will give that to Krishna. So Lalita Devi, so she's making tambul, or many times of course then she will tell Rupa Manjari, you make the tambul, you make the pan with the pan leaves inside the betel nut. And so that is one specific seva which is mentioned, which Lalita Devi is doing, and she's also giving that seva to Rupa Manjari. And many times in Nikunjan actually, so after performing pastimes, sometimes Radharani's necklace is breaking, and then Rupa Manjari is there, and she's collecting the pearls, like Radharani has a pearl necklace, even Krishna has a pearl necklace. And then sometimes it breaks, it happens. So even in the spiritual world, sometimes it breaks. And then, so Rupa Manjari usually she is always there, and she's collecting the beads and sometimes making the necklace again, or telling to other Manjaris which are there on their hair. So ultimately that is our destination, which is most wonderful. And but slowly but surely we should come to that. And Prabhupada, and even his spiritual master Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur Prabhupada, a few weeks before he left, actually a few times he told one of his disciples, Bhakti Rakshak Sri Dev Goswami Maharaj, to chant a song which is by Narottam Das Goswami in glorification of Rupa Manjari. Shri Rupa Manjari Pada Se Mora Sampada Se Mor Bhajana Pujana, and so on. That will be chanted day after tomorrow, right? Mataji, day after tomorrow you will chant at Ter Kadamba. So which also actually Rupa Goswami, he was also there in Ter Kadamba, therefore Mataji is going there to Ter Kadamba also. And beautiful pastimes are there, and in regards to Radha Krishna's pastimes, and also in regards to Rupa Goswami or Rupa Manjari, so that you will hear day after tomorrow at Ter Kadamba. And so because that is ultimately the goal, to take shelter of Rupa Manjari, a sadhaka. And then also Prabhupada actually, he told Srimad Bhaktivedanta Narayana Maharaj a few weeks before he left to chant the same song, Sri Rupa Manjari Pada. Actually to show us that is actually the essence ultimately. We have to take shelter of Rupa Manjari when we are more advanced in the spiritual understanding. For now we take shelter of our spiritual master, we take shelter of Prabhupada, we take shelter of the previous acharyas, but specifically Rupa Goswami also. We are known as Rupa Nuga Vaishnavas. We have to take shelter of Rupa Goswami. And then eventually when we are more advanced than Rupa Manjari. And that all our Goswamis have explained. Not only Prabhupada, but then also Bhaktisiddhanta Prabhupada, Bhaktivinoda Thakur, Narottam Das Thakur, Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur. They all explain that we have to take shelter of Rupa Goswami, and then later on we have to take shelter in more purified consciousness. We have to take shelter of Rupa Manjari. So that is the essence. So we have to stop here. It is 3:30. Hare Krishna. Srila Rupa Manjari ki, Srila Rupa Goswami ki, Srila Prabhupada ki. Hare Krishna.